Hey everybody, it's Bordessa from Ukulele.com, and I'm going to show you how to play The Wind Cries Mary by Jimi Hendrix. Fairly simple, but it's got some interesting chords in it, and it's an awesome song. So here we go. One of the main features of the song, and what you start out with, are a couple of walk-ups, where you're walking up from 2 frets under the destination fret. So what that is in this song, which is in the key of F, that's going to be an E flat to an E to an F. So that's basically the idea you're following throughout when you're doing those walk-ups, but to get kind of a different sound, you're only picking like maybe 2 notes out of each bit. So for like the intro, you could do something like on the 2 top strings, you could play the 3rd fret, 4th fret, and then the 5th fret. If you have a low G, you could probably do it with the high G, but it would sound a little bit different. And then you could do the middle 2 strings, still on the 3rd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret. And you could do a last one, or a second to last one, going 1st fret on the bottom string and 3rd fret on the E string, and walking that up 2 frets. Okay, so if you notice, all those notes fit inside this E-shaped E flat. So we're just taking bits and pieces of that and moving it around. You could probably do it in 6ths if you wanted to. So whatever you like the sound of there. And then for a last one, maybe if you want to end on the root as your highest note, you could play on the 6th fret on the bottom 2 strings and go up to the 8th fret. Okay, so that's just your intro. But then for the verse, the chords are going to be C, then B flat, and then F. So, after all the jacks are in their boxes, back to C, and the clowns have all gone to bed. C one more time. You can hear happiness staggering down the street. And then from there on street, you're playing that last F. And then you go to like an F diminished, which is 1 2 1 2, and you play it with like a peace sign split across the G and E strings, the 2nd and 4th strings, on the 1st fret. And then you add your 3rd and pinky fingers on the 2nd fret of the C and A strings. So 1 2 1 2. So that's kind of an in-between chord. And then you go to G, footsteps, B flat again, dressed in red, back to F. But when you go back to that F, what you're usually doing is you're doing another walk up. Okay, so all together it's gonna be, well, after all the jacks are in their boxes, and the clowns have all gone to bed, you can hear happiness staggering down the street. F diminished, G, footsteps, B flat, dressed in red. And then you start that whole thing over again from the G for Wind Cries Mary. And then it starts all over again, and you can go to the other different verses. So if you want to add to that, you can take all of it, put it all together. I'll attach a link for the lyrics and stuff. But if you want a solo piece, if you want to be able to kind of solo around with it, you can play something along the lines of maybe F and then E flat. That E flat in there is where you've been starting for your slide ups, but it's also 2 frets down from the root. And when you take something 2 frets down from the root, and you use that, it's pretty much a guaranteed rock context. So, like, I don't know, a lot of stuff that Jake does, that's kind of what he's got, is he goes down 2 frets from C to the B flat, and it's used in a ton of rock songs, so that's kind of where you hear that. So F, E flat, and it would also be like C to B flat, or D to C, or on and on and on. You can figure out the rest of them. It's pretty easy. But if you take that for the solo piece, solo section, you could go F, E flat, B flat, F. Then if you start it all over again. So I'm kind of putting some sort of funny rhythm on it right there that I probably couldn't explain if you asked me to. But those chords will give you kind of a cool context for playing some different kind of bluesy scales. Of which, those would be like pentatonic, probably. So, you could use the F pentatonic, F minor, it'd be F minor pentatonic. So that'd be F minor pentatonic over F major. And you can do that for any key or any chord. So F minor pentatonic is going to be the 1st fret on the E string. That's your F note. Then the 4th fret on the E string, which is A flat. And then the 1st fret on the bottom string, which is B flat. Then the 3rd fret, which is C. The 6th fret, which is E flat. And then a last F on the 8th fret. And then there's another shape if you find the same notes. You could go 8-6, 8-6 on the next string, E string, and then 8-5 on the C string, and then another 8-5 on the G string if you want. So that's more of just kind of knowing your fingerboard. But if you were to take that and put that kind of that scale over the chords, you could end up with something kind of sounding like this. Just something like that. All I was using was the F minor pentatonic with maybe a G note thrown in here and there. So what the F minor pentatonic is actually is you're just taking selected notes out of the F minor scale. So penta means 5, so you're only taking 5 notes out of the minor scale. So if you go through the F minor scale, you'd end up with F, G, which is not in the pentatonic, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, and F. So it's the same exact thing as the F minor scale, except you're taking out the D flat and the G. So you can put those back in and it's going to have pretty much the same sound. So for an ending, you could do the march up principle, except you could go all the way up the fretboard if you wanted to. I mean, it kind of gets obnoxious after a while, but if you could pick your favorite spots to play it, it might be kind of fun. Last one. Alright, so there you have it. The Wind Cries Mary. See you next time.